Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicity. If you're new here, click that little subscribe button down below and hit that little notification bell as well so you never miss an update. Today I will be going over 5 different things that I learned at Coaching Con in 2023. So let's get straight into it. If you don't already know, Coaching Con 2023 had the most incredible speakers. We had Alex Hormozi, Leila Hormozi, Brad Lee, Jason Phillips obviously spoke. We had Dana Lynn Bailey, we had Rob Bailey, we had Jen Gottlieb, we had, who else? Oh my gosh, so many great speakers. I'm now blanking. It was just such an amazing array, and I was absolutely mind blown and stunned that I was able to see all these incredible people with my own 2 eyes, and not only that, but learn from them as well in person. So today I'm gonna get into the 5 top things. I'm gonna try to do 5 different people for each thing. Even though there was so much more that I learned, I came back and I wrote down 5 things that I want to take away and start implementing today so I'm able to skyrocket myself and be able to grow from that event. I'm just getting my little notepad up here. The first big speaker that came up dropped the mic. Her name was Jen Gottlieb. I'm going to be looking down a little bit because I have my remarkable right here. But she said a quote in the beginning that set the bar so high for this whole event. And she goes, "Sometimes shit happens, so shift can happen." And if you think about that for a second, think of all the times big shifts happened in your life and the stuff that came before it usually wasn't that good. When you learn and when you grow, shit needs to happen so the shift can happen later. And it blew my mind. Even though it's so true and it seems very simplistic, never have I heard it that way, and it stuck to me like glue. Like, it was unbelievable. Jen Gottlieb, her energy and the energy she brought to the stage she was a goddess. Like, she walked down the center aisle. I was always on that very end, and her entire persona was immaculate. And I looked at her and I saw parts of myself in her, and the things she said when she was on that stage changed a lot for me. That was the first thing. Sometimes shit happens, so the shift can happen. Remember that. Oh yes, Luka was there. We had Pastuch. He was immaculate too. He's actually one of the people that I am going to bring up today as well. The second biggest takeaway that I had was from Pastuch. He was talking about people and values and who you are, why you are the way you are, how to read people, a bunch of things in that sense. And he made the biggest change in my personal life when he was on stage for that 1 hour. And he was talking about values, and I realized that when he was talking that I wasn't, now I'm a lot better, and I'm going to say better, but when he was on stage, he was talking about values and what values you hold. And I realized that I've never written my values down. I am a very value-driven person. I have a lot of morals. I have a lot of standards that I hold myself to. And I've never written these down. And I was in a position before Coaching Con where I felt kind of lost. I felt kind of like I was in a limbo. I didn't really know what path I was going down. I was doing advertising, I was doing personal training, I was doing software. I felt like I was a tornado, like my entire life was a mess. And I didn't know what direction to go. My brain was scattered. It was not a good look, all right? It was just not a good look. And Pastuch, as he was on stage talking about his values, and he was like, I even write my own personal values, And I write my own personal mission statement, and I read that to myself every single morning. And if it doesn't sound right, I sit down and I immediately start writing until it sounds right to me that day. And that honestly, like, it blew my mind. And I was so thoroughly impressed by Sean Pastuch. I love you, man, if you ever see this. He changed my life for the better. And as soon as I got home after Coaching Con, because I didn't want to do or act anything out until I got home, was able to review everything and then sit down and then start from the beginning. And I got home, I immediately wrote out my values. I have my core values list that I'm going to keep changing and editing a little bit because it's still kind of like a rough draft, but never have I ever done that before. And it put such a good, like, it's like bowling, and it puts those little guardrails up. And how you think, how you are, absolutely amazing guy. Highly recommend. So the third thing that I took away was from Eli Wilde. And if you don't know who he is, he actually worked like side by side with Tony Robbins. Majority of people know who Tony Robbins is. And he helps in sales and just figuring out the psychology behind why human beings do what we do. And he just brought so much life to the stage. Again, an amazing speaker. He first started off with talking a little bit, but then he did an exercise with us, and it was pattern recognition. And so he was having us clap. We could kind of do it now. I'm kind of drawing a blank on exactly how he did it, but he was just clapping, and we had to clap with him. And all of a sudden, he stopped, and a lot of people still kept clapping. And he did it after 5 different times, or like 5 claps, and people still continued to clap after it. And it just showed how quickly humans are responsive to patterns. Mind-boggling. Eli Wilde, he was talking to us, and he said something really impactful. He said, nothing has any meaning until you give it the meaning that you give it. I'm going to say that again. Nothing has any meaning until you give it the meaning that you give it. And if you think about it, anybody who's super emotional, like myself, I put so much meaning behind things, and in actuality, doesn't really have any meaning behind it. It's like I'm only giving it, like I'm putting so much value in something that doesn't deserve the value that I give it. And he flipped this, and instead of making it kind of like that negative, like, oh, something's bad, you put value on it, whatever, he was actually talking about truly believing in what you want to do in life. So he was like talking about visualizations and how you have to be a true believer. So if you don't truly believe, you're going to be kind of hesitant, you're not going to make moves, you're going to think about some choices before you start. And he was talking about the first mover advantage and how you have to move with agility, so you have that advantage over someone else that is falling behind. For example, he brought up 5, I think, different people onto the stage, 5 or 6, and he had a $100 bill in his hand. I forgot exactly what he was saying, but he was saying something along the lines of, how badly do you know that people want to give you money? Whatever, it's something along the lines of that. And he was like, how badly do you believe people want to give you money, their money? And he was like shaking it in front of these people, the $100 bill. Out of the 5 people, he just kept saying it, and like I was confused of what he was doing, and I couldn't even imagine the people on stage not only being nervous because they're on stage and 700 people are watching them, but also being told by Eli Wilde, how much do you believe the people truly want to give you their money? And the first person on the very end, I forgot his name, good job to you though, bro, he ran up and he snatched the $100. And Eli goes, very good job. That's how badly he believed that people wanted to give his money. He went up and he snatched it from Eli. And he got the $100 bill. Next thing he pulled out was, I think, a $50 bill, and then a 20, a 5, and a 1. And obviously, as like after that first guy went, people caught on not immediately, but a little bit into the thing. But he was like, how badly do you believe that people want to give your money? And someone else grabbed the 50. and then someone grabbed the 20, and it kind of went on, and that showed the first mover advantage that Eli was talking about, and how the quicker you move, the more advantage you have over the other people. And that first guy won $100 instead of 50, 25, or 1. So really cool. Eli, you're G. So you have to act with a sense of urgency. Number 4 that I learned was from the queen herself, Leila Hormozi. Love you, girl. Love you so very much. Anyways, she is, if you don't already know Leila, go look her up. Leila and Alex are the top dogs of any game, business, fitness related. I've been following them for over, oh my gosh, almost 2 years now. Unbelievable. And they just went from like, they were doing really good when I found them, but they just have taken off in the last year. Like, unbelievable. Almost everyone knows who Alex and Leila Hormozi are. Leila was talking about, in her presentation, the 5 principles of management. Doesn't really apply to me because I don't have a staff yet. Keyword, it's gonna be happening. But she was talking about the 5 principles of management, and she brought up the whole thing about values again, which I thoroughly enjoyed because that's honestly what resonated with me the most. The biggest thing that I took from her was you need to lead with values, not with rules. And that got me thinking. Even though this is the 5 principles of management and kind of like this is kind of more so towards businesses, I want to also do the same, but in my life and the people in my life. So the people that are coming into my life, I want to set standards of my core values and kind of lead with those. I want to lead myself and the people around me with the values that I have. I don't want to be telling people like, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. I want to be like, hey, I personally value this more in comparison to this, or whatever the case may be. She was unbelievable, and if you ever do get to see her in person, I don't think she's going to be doing anything else other than Gym Con next month, which is sad. Just go watch her stuff. Her stuff is fantabulous. Highly recommend it. Jen Widerstrom was another woman that went on stage, and she was incredible, blew my socks off, sort of incredible. She ended the whole Coaching Con event, and I honestly didn't know who she was until she walked out on stage, but she's really cool to listen to as well. She's very, very empowering, especially if you're a woman. She has a coaching business, and she crushes the game. So number 5, you probably are thinking it's from Alex. Not from Alex. Alex did sales stuff. Alex was crushed at sales. But it's not from Alex. It's actually from Dana Lynn Bailey. She also gave me a high five. Like, woo, being a bodybuilder, that was like, that was the most amazing high five I've ever had in my entire life. So I was kind of fangirling when Dana Lynn Bailey walked on stage or even in the room and I was able to see her because, man, not only her delts, but the power that woman has. The sheer power that woman has radiates through her. Absolutely radiates through her into every single person in that room. And it was her first time speaking, and she absolutely crushed it. Great job, DLB. I've loved DLB for years now. She is just a pure powerhouse. Unbelievable. Anyways, so she was talking and she actually told us her story. She had no slides. She just kind of did it. And again, she absolutely demolished it. One of the biggest things that she brought up was staying true to yourself. She, throughout her entire career, stayed true to who she was, and that's why she is where she is right now. And if she started following what the judges in bodybuilding told her she had to do, grow out her hair, get a boob job, do this, do that, not train as hard, she wouldn't have been Miss Olympia. And it just shows you that no matter what people tell you, don't change yourself for the sake of other people. Stay true to who you are and embody what you stand for, because that is honestly the most important thing. Don't let anybody break you down because they're not worth it. As she also said, become an unstoppable monster. She also put, don't make a decision based on someone else's opinion. Do what you feel is right. And I think I brought this up in one of my other videos too, because I believe the same exact things. Like, you have to live for yourself and not by anybody else, because no one else matters. You're the star role in your movie. Embody that. Do that. Like, because nobody else can be you. Be true to who you are, and it'll get you places that you could never even imagine. So, those are the 5 things that I learned from Coaching Con that I am implementing in my life right now. And I hope that one of these things you can take and also implement it in your own life. I also wanted to apologize for not posting the past 2 weeks. I'm so sorry. I was traveling, I was in Phoenix one of those Thursdays, and then I got home and I was still recuperating from the week-long trip, because 3-hour time change on top of all of the information I learned, my brain was I needed to compartmentalize and organize all of my thoughts. But that is not an excuse. I should have recorded in advance. I'm still not used to this whole YouTube video thing, but I need to stop making excuses. From here on out, there is going to be a new Thursday video, every single Thursday, without a doubt. I promise you on that one. Hold me to it too. Like, come after me in my DMs. Speaking of, if you do want to go follow me on my other social medias, I post all the time on my Instagram and Facebook. I'll link it all down below. I'm also trying to get a little bit more on TikTok. We'll see how it works. But thank you again so very much for watching and spending a few minutes with me today. I love you all. Mwah. See you next Thursday.